Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and this is going to be a siege of Athens. This time I am on the attacking team, and so you may be wondering what's going on here. Well, we're looking at the dock side of Athens, and in the far distance you start to see some shapes, some ships materialize out of the fog, and that is actually going to be my force. I'm going to be leading the naval assault on the rear of Athens. Going to be some pretty cool stuff, so we can go out further at sea and see kind of what's coming into dock here. I thought it's always really cool to see these combined assaults on fortified positions. So I'm going to be pushing forward. Now you can get a better view of my guys. So let's see what it would look like from one of the defenders of Athens, who perhaps, you know, the commander's been manning the walls, and now all of a sudden he takes a look in the back and barbarians have come to raid the rear. So here come my triremes. A lot of units going to be pouring into here. Now this isn't the entirety of my force, but it's a lot. I mean, that is more than a dozen ships coming in here, fully kitted to raid up and down the sides. Just wanted to get some nice shots of my dudes as they move up. So a couple of these are assault ships, but then actually a fair amount of them are going to be supporting vessels. So I've got ships in here that can do slinger fire for support. I also have some artillery crews, and you'll see those doing action. They're going to be helping me to kind of clear the way for the assault when it comes to actually attacking the city. So I'm going to be going into a bit of a staging position. We'll get some epic shots of the fleet here gearing up for the assault on Athens. Now, like I said, this isn't the entirety of the force. It's just going to be one contingent. So actually, if we pop on the heads-up display, you can see a lot of my troops deploying in this position. I have holding groups on this front, assault raiders, and then I have my Roman artillery conquirums. I'm not sure why I have Roman ships. I guess they were plundered. And then I have some Pantares carrying some slingers. The main docking action is going to be going here, where I want to come in and seize the towers. But over in the front, I have my allies actually going to be helping Roman troops, helping to seize the walls there, and then also an attack going to be going through here. I do have some reserve troops, one Oathsworn here, the rest of my units deployed in the back. But let's go ahead and take a look at the action up on the walls. So now we can see the naval invasion underway. Like I was telling you, the Athenians not necessarily braced for this. They didn't know what to expect. The tower is going to get some early shots at me. So let's go ahead and, as always, see what it looks like from the defender's perspective. Catch a glimpse of this naval landing, and this looks so cool. So here come my ships. If you're an archer up here, you're going to have to batter down all the walls, because this is a lot of troops having a D-Day on your city. Looking on the right, you can see almost no defenders. Athens is going to have some defenders, but for now they have not materialized. The Acropolis there in the distance looking awesome with the fog effects. But mostly, like I said, attacked in the rear like this, no one's ready to defend. So my guys are going to be swarming out. These are going to be some essentially levy freemen. My cheapest dudes. And you guys have noted that I always call my guys dudes, but they are dudes. So they're coming over, they're going to seize the towers. Cheap levy freeman, one is going to go to seize this choke point, the other one's going to seize that one immediately. I want to shut that down, make way for a beachhead. And now you can see actually the Bactrian armies are going to be defending Athens, so we've had a bit of a weird swapping and role reversal happen. But anyways, they're going to be holding out. The victory point is actually right in that plaza there. Wow, that looks so cool. But yeah, so I'm actually the closest to the victory point. So I'm going to start preparing my troops. My artillery ships are going to move up close, and we're going to try and prep for a D-Day. The opponent's going to send some skilled thorax hoplites, but that is going to be the first stage of this assault. We can go ahead and take a look on this far side, where the Romans have pushed forward. They've swarmed up on the walls here. Basically, no resistance. The city is ominously quiet. Looks like they're going to be holding on the inside of the city. We're going to be moving in nonetheless with some of the tortoise rams to knock out the wall, but we've pretty much got this breached and cleared. It's going to be chosen swordmen combined with the Romans. Really, like I said, no opposition. This main force over here is holding strong catapults moving in. We blasted a hole in the wall, but yeah, you get glimpses of the opponents kind of set up on the around the Acropolis on this high ground here, that if you saw the previous defense of Athens that me and Indy did, this is a key position. So they're going to let us in, draw us into combat, and then we'll see how this goes. I'm disembarking my Oathsworn, some pretty solid troops. Celtic warriors taken a couple hits, but I have now seized both of these towers. That means if anyone wants to come and attack me, they're going to take damage themselves. So I've secured a nice position. Knowing that that's the case, I'm starting to pull in some of my artillery ships. They're going to be moving up close to clear the beachhead. The opponent is starting to sequester off some of these areas with his troops, so I'm going to have to bring in my support ships. Over on this flank, I'm going to go ahead and seize the other set of towers. I want to have both flanks secured. Let's get some nice shots of my guys running up on the beaches here, unopposed once again. Cheap troops taking a lot of fire from the artillery crews, but this looks so cool with these. I'm not sure if they're long ships, but they definitely look very, very cool. Unloading my marauders. So I take a lot of damage from the towers. Towers in Rome 2 are definitely super strong, especially against the ship crews, which are already smaller. It's going to be pretty punishing against my guys, so I definitely have to seize that. Down through the center, this is where I'm going to try and set up for an assault. The opponent has one unit that's going to be blocking this position, and this is exactly where the combined forces are going to be crucial. So my opponent thinks he can block me right here, but if I toggle this on, you'll notice that these are Celtic slingers. So we're going to start to pepper these guys, start to suppress them with my slinger ships. This is going to get the units here to start putting their shields up. That means that when I do make an assault with my Oathsworn, we're going to be coming up in the rear. We're going to be good to go. But what I'm also doing is I'm pulling forward with some of my artillery ships. Actually, another slinger ship. I really want to whittle away my opponent. So he's puckered up right there. He's going to be in sitting pretty for the moment, trying to tank out those shots. So I'm not doing too much damage. He's going to form up into shield wall to try and deflect my shots, and that is exactly what my onager ships are prepared to deal with. On the right, I'm holding on this beachfront, and I'm holding on the left. I've seized the tower, and now I have orders to send Oathsworn to the beach. And now that his guys are in shield wall, the artillery is going to prepare to fire. His guys are starting to whittle as their as their health starts to go down. And the artillery is going to start zeroing in. It must be hard to fire artillery from a rocking vessel like this, but let's go ahead and watch the shield wall. So it's definitely taking its toll. Slingers softening them up, and then these volleys tearing through the shield wall. So this is soon going to be an untenable position. So for my guys, this is perfect. Everything's being softened up for the Oathsworn to now come in. So this is not good for morale of these guys. I'm now hand targeting the artillery, so it's going to be doing a lot of damage. Slinger volleys coming in here. This is all before the main assault even gets underway. So let's watch the Oathsworn as they touch down. I think the timing is going to be just perfect. Just as I set foot here, his unit takes more losses. It's now wavering, and it breaks before the first foot touches the beach. So that is how you conduct an amphibious assault right there. Clear out the LZ and then charge in with your heavy troops unmolested. So that was awesome. So really cool to be able to pull that off. So now my Oathsworn can claim the beachhead here. Slinger's still providing suppressing fire. Now that I've penetrated through here, I can start to seize a bit of the cover, and this is exactly what I'm going to need, because he has a lot of archers that would love to fire in my guys. So they're going to be shooting up over this position. However, because I've been able to seek cover, these shots are almost all going to be blocked by this building. Scratch that. Not all the shots, but a great majority of them. So I'm going to get a little closer to this cover so that his shots, yep, he doesn't have a firing angle on me. So now this is clearing the LZ. I've secured the great positions. The artillery is now going to be targeting his guys as they retreat. The right side is held firm. Oathsworn are in a good position. What I can do is if I unload a couple more guys, yep, suppressing fire, going to keep these dudes at bay. And what I can do is send in some more troops. This is going to force this position back, because I had some slingers that were going to come and deal with his guys. So this is the perfect opportunity for me to strike. Meanwhile, you haven't missed much of what's going on here. Our units are pretty much starting to get set up for staging action. We've rolled the artillery through the hole in the wall, and it's going to be forming up to try and deal with this hilltop position. More of the Romans pouring in. They have a lot of supporting troops. The backstream position here is going to be reinforced with a double Scorpion unit that's overlooking this area. And like I said, this place is the place to hold in the siege. You can do so much damage. He also has archers on Overwatch. So our allies are doing well to hold firm, and they're going to wait to see how much damage I can do with this rear assault. With the pressure I've been able to put on, I've been able to clear away all of these guys, which is awesome. I've got his units here in a bit of a bind. I'm now going to pull in, try and do a bit of a pincer movement on his forces. I'm not quite sure what awaits me. And the Romans, hopefully sensing that I'm putting pressure in the rear, will then start to redeploy some of their guys and push forward in this position. And I thought I would have the drop on his archers. However, he has some backstream royal guard that just came out of the fog of war that I did not notice. And so I'm going to get one clean charge into his archers, hopefully start whittling away at the skirmishers. That's going to be important for us. So they're sent scattering. But then another backstream royal guard comes in, and they're going to be used to plug the gap here. I have my Oathsworn force that I don't really want to commit to this fight. It would be a shame, especially with so many Thoreau spears and other forces being pulled into the mix. So what I did is there's a backstream royal guard facing, putting its back to me. So what I figured I'd do is at least get a couple free shots into the rear, get 5 kills there, and then I'm going to reform. My Oathsworn are still at 90 men, but they're going to start to take heavy fire. So I do another charge, hoping that they would throw their javelins, but they didn't end up throwing their javelins, and so I was waiting for the javelins to go off before I pulled out of the combat, but it ended up not happening. So I was like, alright, screw it, I'm just going to commit to this fight. I'm going to signal my allies to try and push the flank. So Rome is going to take the opportunity to now push up. However, thorax pikemen are going to be blocking the way. Over here, we can watch as this position is going to start to get shelled by the artillery. This is such a cool battle. Artillery mostly going to be inaccurate because he's targeting some of these scorpions, and sometimes the artillery has a little bit of a hard time shooting at spread out units, but one of these shots looks like it's going to be on target. Ooh, barely missed that crew, but yeah, that's not a good target. Fire him, I would start to hit some of these thorax swordsmen, although it looks like, no, that one's up full. Yeah, this scorpion unit, one of them has been taken out, so perhaps scratch that. It looks like we're doing pretty well. My Oathsworn are losing severely. They're already low in number. Did quite a number on his backstream royal guard, so I'm trading pretty well with them, but I don't have that many units to trade. My levy freemen are going to pull out of the action there. I used the confusion to actually go up and post my slingers up in this position, and a couple of them are being a bit opportunistic, getting on the side here, and they're going to start shelling his units there. I don't expect to do too much damage, but I mostly wanted to hold this position because it's overlooking essentially one of the key areas. So I figured, I'm going to seize this beachhead. And then I saw all of his elite Persian archers, and if they were to turn around, they could clear out this patio. So I seek shelter in the shade of this bell tower. But yeah, Oathsworn have gone down. So this the hold I have on this beachhead is quite tentative. I don't have too many more troops, so I'm going to start unloading my slingers. Artillery going to be in supporting positions, and I have another slinger unit that I'm going to unload. Towers in the distance are still mine, but essentially now I'm at a standstill in the rear, but I've done a good job of forcing the enemy back, holding key locations and disrupting them. Now it's going to be time for the heavy push on this side. One of the pushes is going to be right through the center, where we're having a bit of a staring contest between Roman armored legionnaires and thorax pikemen. Probably a good move. I would say you don't need to engage with these guys head on, so they're just gonna, keep them in check, keep them from moving away, while we pull in a huge mess of skirmishers. And this is a pike wall buster here. Syrian archers, Balearic slingers, lots of armor piercing damage that you can do to the opponent. So this is great. So we're sending these guys in after definitely having cleared out the area. I mean, you see this huge legionary infantry support, and then we already have a cheap, no, not so cheap, armored legionary unit on loose formation, trying to go and seize these towers, or at least make them neutral so they can't fire, and just mostly clearing away for our guys to come in. Face-off continues here. And in this position, we're now going to be going for movement command over on that far side. After all the artillery shelling, looks like we still have not done anything more than kill one of the artillery crews. So I would say that's probably a waste. I would have targeted these thorax pikemen. Dense infantry formations are definitely what you want to be targeting. Aha. Alright, so we kind of missed something. Sorry about that. So there was a citizen cav that tried to sneak in here, and he got past one of my units and targeted my slingers. However, that's going to bring him really close to my supporting artillery, which thank God I had it. It's going to be keeping a lot of the enemy units at bay for the most part, or making them think twice. My Oathsworn were pulled away, try and deal with his guys, but he did effectively knock out the majority of my slinger unit. Another force is trying to push up here, which I'm also going to be doing a lot of damage to. My force up here, I was forced to pull away my Oathsworn support, but at least they've been able to take out some of these Thoreau spears. And they're going to try and eliminate my beach force, which is going to be only secured by the Oathsworn. So I'm pretty scared at this point of losing the initiative. On the right side, I'm going to pull in some slingers to try and pick away at his guys guarding that area. If I can seize that, that'll be a nice beachhead to secure my right position, because right now I'm kind of held out. Over here, my slingers had a nice position to take out the citizen cav. However, the opponent has tossed in some scaled thorax hoplites while my Oathsworn weren't nearby, so they're going to be killing my guys up here, nowhere left to run. So a pretty miserable end to my forces. Meanwhile, my remaining 2 units is all I have on this front are going to try and pull back. His cav is going to continue to try and run raiding missions against me. I turn off fire at will, form up in shield wall. That's going to reduce the impact damage of his forces. But his scale thorax have a lot of precursors, and they're going to be specifically targeting my slingers. That's not going to be good. I pop headhunt on my Oathsworn just to try and deal more damage to his citizen cav. I'm not sure why the game is all stuttery right now. Something's definitely happening. Not sure what. It could be some artillery shots or something that's causing the game to lag. But anyways, back to the action over here. I'm continuing to take just tons of tremendous fire from his Thoreau spears. This is not good for me. My Oathsworn cannot take a beating like that, so I'm going to fall back once again to the close support of the Quinquiriums. So, to recap what's been going on this flank, pretty much I had a really nice assault on the enemy position here. I really did clear it out, and I'm pulling away key units from the enemy defensive strategy. However, just because the shipborne units don't have that many troop numbers, and the actual areas to unload troops is so limited, I'm not able to do much with the advantage I have besides kind of edge out the opponents from the positions I want to keep. I was starting to shell this position with my artillery, hoping to take out this structure and get a little bit of revenge, but the enemy pulls out, so I'm going to hold fire and try and save for better targets. If we go over on this side, the face-off continues, and we tried to unleash some dogs against the pikes, but that is not a good idea. I think we lost every single dog in that engagement. Yep. Just taken to task there. And then finally, it looks like the heavy infantry and this massive blob, this assault column, is going to be chewing through this force. And once we're in position, we're going to be able to unload on whatever the defensive formation is. So the opponent is just kind of biding time right now. And we're being very slow and methodical, or at least my allies are. I was being rather aggressive. I mean, taking on the opponent from this position back here was pretty ballsy, I have to say. And I don't have too many forces left, so I don't want to throw everything into combat. If I were to throw everything in, I would definitely lose. So I just want to have kind of a perceived threat, or enough of a threat that my opponent is forced to divert some of his attention in units where he doesn't need to. And what I'm getting is these nice, easy shots against these Thoreau spears and other forces, where if they get any closer, he's going to be within range of my artillery, and already some of them are taking a lot of damage. I'm going to be manual firing with my artillery ship, which is always fun. You don't often have the time to be able to test that out, but I'm slowly cutting through his throw spears, trying to safeguard my Oathsworn. They did take a bit of a beating from precursors, but I'm keeping them alive. Now it looks like we're finally going to get into a bit of action on this front. Gallic hunters, having been told to go ahead and scout the preliminary positions before we throw in any of our chosen swordsmen or chosen spearmen or any of those elite troops. So right now they're actually hidden, which is good, because if the opponents try and do any counter charges from that hill, we have ample forces ready to just slaughter those guys. Looks like this archer force here was positioned to try and deal with the enemy archers there. We're going to be doing a couple counter volleys. We should get the advantage here. The opponent has the advantage of height, but the odd thing about the walls is they just really can't shoot back at you because the walls are so thin. However, talking about a little bit of a cheap tactic, we have spears up on the wall. So this, where I was talking about walls being a bit thin, that's definitely going to come to the advantage of the pikes. Although it looks like they're a little bit glitchy here, most of them facing the wrong way, and that's going to allow our Oathsworn to actually make progress, with the tower and close supports actually going to not make it so these thorax pikemen do too much, besides look super goofy. And yeah, so this is going to seize our approach. Still holding the opponents a bit. You can see just 2 of my units right there holding the attention of 3 or 4 units that have been able to whittle away significantly. And now the mass of Gallic hunters is just unloading on these guys. And like I said, we have the advantage here. The archers, even though it's a whole unit, only 5 or 4 of this entire unit is facing the correct direction. And so now, as soon as our archers refocus their targets, they're going to be doing, I think they can wipe out these guys in a volley. For now, the focus fire is going towards the remaining pikes, hoping to clear that out. Oh, and here it comes. Here's the retargeting of the Gallic hunters, and yeah, like I said, 1 volley, and this force is done for. Only 1 brave man left, and now he's going to be dealing with some slings. Yeah, these guys pinned to the wall they were defending, nailed to the side. 1 guy left miraculously. He's going to be dodging. He is the Neo of this battle, dodging all the... Oh, not so quick. But yeah, so we've taken care of business there. Chosen warriors, I believe. No, chosen swordmen are going to be charging forward. Although Bactrian Royal Guard should be able to hold us back pretty well. And the support of the elite Persian archers have, I think, a bit of a hill advantage. Yeah, so they can shoot just over these guys, although it's not the best of angles. Meanwhile, pikes are ready to greet us, and the scorpions are continuing to fire on my guys. I decided to charge forward with some of my fierce swords. They took a lot of damage in the assault from these scorpions against my mass blobs, but I'm getting a bit anxious. I just kind of want to pour everything up through the front. On this side, we did miss what the Romans ended up doing on this front, but I think this speaks for itself. That is all spearmen. So first they killed our dogs, then we killed these dogs. And that was all skirmisher fire. I mean, you can see none of our men in the vicinity, so that means this archer blob is the one that inflicted that amount of killing. And now we have an interesting face-off going on here. Syrian archers lining up in front of the crowd of cheering armored legionnaires. Once again, facing off against an armored foe. And we have a couple of the dog handlers just positioned here, trying to bait the enemy to fire off some shots preemptively. Looks like we're going to be popping. I believe that was quick reload, so we should see a couple of volleys coming in rapid succession. Yeah. It's weird. I'm not sure why they're not firing. This is such a tense moment for these guys. You don't know what that it's going to look like. But anyways, as we mass up, Romans have more auxiliary artillery slingers that they should probably swing around the side. I've pretty much softened that position up. Over in the rear, the enemy kind of wiped out my slingers, and I pulled back my Oathsworn into the nook between my 2 ships with the artillery crew support. Yeah, the opponent was not willing to bite there. Over here, We're doing a lot of pressure. Gallic hunters pouring forward. We're killing the units, so we're going to kind of run around this main bastion here. I've pulled back my dudes. I figured I wasn't ready to assault the capture point. It's pretty tempting, but with the archer support and more archers pulling in, not quite ready to do just that. Okay, it looks like he wanted to pull in all of his troops for even closer shots. So let's see how this goes. And it should come in waves. Yeah. So first, you're going to see these units with a couple shots in front of them, but as the HP damage starts to take its toll, you're going to see a lot more casualties being sustained by these forces. So they're going to try and wipe out our single unit thick preliminary screening force. And those are mostly fodder units that we threw in the mix just to tie up the opponents. And it's going to just buy us more time to unload on these guys. And now it is open season. The enemy also returning fire in kind, but most of it falling short. You can see the trajectory here. Yes, it's going to be killing some of our legionnaires, but a lot of it ending up doing friendly fire. And I believe our archers have decided to pull back for some reason. I'm not sure. I would continue to unload on this position. Look at that clump. If we had any artillery, this would be the time to fire. And I don't know why my ally is being so stingy with his forces. He has no attack commands. There we go. There we go. Shoot now. All their backs are turned. And that is gonna get a lot of kills. Hoplites, knowing that this is a bad position to be in, they're hustling. Booking it right now. But look at those scores of men taken out with every volley. And this guy here trying to drag his way back with a couple arrows sticking out of him. The kills are gruesome in this game. And all that's left is a couple of the archers. But if these guys are unsupported, that is exactly what the legionnaires want to do. Ooh, and the legionnaires, speaking of these guys, have formed up into testudo. And now they're going to be told, I believe, to make an advance. Yeah, so here we go. Like I said, once you leave those archers unsupported, that's going to be the cue for our side to assault. Look at this swarm of Romans coming forward at the archers. They're going to try and fire away at us, but it is not going to stop our force. This is going to be some epic stuff. So yeah, the archer is going to be deciding to run as we put the pressure on to this position. The enemy is noticing that they need to do something to keep the Romans back, so they're going to be shuffling forward some Bactrian royal guards, another unit. So this is when I know that I have to take the opportunity to just charge through this gauntlet and put a lot of pressure on the capture point. Meanwhile, over here, Oathsworn are going to be taking on Thoreau's spears. Celtic warriors going to be taking on Thoreau's spears. Artillery is going to start to kind of dock its units because I don't have much left. So I am mostly spent in the back. And we're going to go ahead and watch this charge here real quick. And then we'll pivot over and watch my assault as it gets underway. But oh my god, point blank pillar shots into units that have oh my god. Oh jeez. That's against the Bactrian royal guards. So yeah, they're doing the smart move and deciding to charge and not trying to withstand more shots like that. But jeez, look at the concentrated fire of our archers. Let's watch a couple more volleys. Wow. I always find this super impressive. Crazy stuff. So yeah, our legionnaires are going to make short work of those guys, excuse me. And I have fierce swords in the back. So on that front, that's what's happening. Over on this front, I charge with some of my fierce swords. And then I have a holding position with some Mighty Horse and Oathsworn. I'm just waiting to do preliminary damage. On the top, oh my god, the Noble Horse getting a clean strike on these elite Persian archers. Looks like the infantry here was completely wiped out. Bactrian Royal Guard and other units were forced to try and keep these units back. And I don't know where the pikeman support went. Oh, Thorax Swordsman not in position at all. They could have prevented that catastrophic defeat. I'm not sure where the pikemen went that were defending this position. They may have been pulled back to the center stronghold. And actually, it looks like a huge amount of units were diverted by my assault in the rear, and I'm continuing to get fire on. So definitely my distraction is doing a lot of work. It pulled those guys out of position, allowing us to pour in with more units into this mix. They're going to be throwing in some units to try and hold us back, but it's not going to be doing much. Our Roman legionary body is going to be doing tremendous damage to these guys. Even my fierce sword's getting in on the action. And then this archer blob that we have going on is going to isolate or choose any of the isolated units to have their flanks turned and just knock them out of commission within a couple seconds. So I would say this has been effectively routed. Once we get rear charges done in general, that's going to be good for us. And then over here, I found a little hole over by that tree to charge forward with my Oathsworn. What they're going to do is soften up these targets, route the thorax towards them. That's going to open up this huge gap. The opponent's going to realize that this is what's coming for him. So Oathsworn are going to charge from one side. And then my mighty horse in diamond formation is going to try and charge against his guys. And there you go. Diamond does slow down your assault, your charge speed, so it was a little bit anticlimactic, but definitely has some improved charge bonuses. So this is going to be not going well for these thorax. Meanwhile, my other unit in diamond formation is going to be running around, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The enemy has come back to try and pincer our guys, so we're not finding ourselves in the best of positions here. But we do have a nice, clean avenue into the victory point. The Romans having destroyed everything in their path here. And yeah, myself still having a couple crews in the back circling around. The area up here is still holding out. This is why it's such an important position, because there's only one way up, and it has supporting fire on all types of areas. For example, the Scorpion here, you see redeployed, and now it can fire on our massive troops. It's going to be too little too late at this point, but definitely has the potential to do tons of damage. I'm going to pull out my noble horse. I'm going to try and bring it over on this front where I see that we're getting a bit torn apart. Caught in a vice like this, our units are tired, pretty exhausted, and so this huge blob of thorax and scale, thorax hoplites, all those guys are going to be starting to go to town on us, which isn't, you know, super threatening because, I mean, we already have the victory point secured, but it's always nice to come to the rescue of friends and companions. And by the way, these mighty horse need to stretch their legs. So that's exactly what they're going to be doing. They're going to be running around. One of the units is going to be told to go to the right, the other to the left of the structure. And a clean charge right into the rear. You can see the shock waves as that knocks over more guys. Pikes are going to try and reform to keep my guys at bay. I'm going to fan out my units and then issue a charge command. And that's going to allow me to hit as many units as possible. You want to do that to make sure every single unit gets dinged with the attacked in the rear penalty. So you can see some of them starting to rout. I'm going to go ahead and pop some abilities, boosting our attack bonuses. Cavalry are going to come out, get ready for cycle charges. Pikes are flicking back and forth, not sure which way to point their spears. We're going to put pressure from the front to kind of secure the vice on this hammer and anvil attack that's going on. And the repeated cavalry strikes is going targeting particularly the pikemen, mostly because that's the main thing holding us back. Looks like the other pike force was redeployed to the top of the hill there, booking out of there. I think what they're trying to do is keep this force at bay. Not sure what they're trying to defend. Perhaps some of the Greek Scorpions, which are firing on our guys. Now we're in loose formation. We've secured the plaza, so yeah, good luck with that. In the back, more and more and more kills with the mighty horse. They're exhausted from the cycle charges I've been doing. So 54 kills on them, 75 on the Celtic warriors, 50 almost on the noble horse. So doing work. And then finally, I think I'm able to unload some of my artillery crew. So my whole invasion force made it to the beach, and I was over here trying to secure the gateway. So all my objectives were cleared. I lost most of my force in that assault, but definitely it helped win us this victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Interesting siege as always, and yeah, it was fun to assault from the sea. So let's go ahead and end the replay, take a look at some of these stats, as you can see them here. So I really didn't get that many kills. Let's see, most of it actually coming from the 2 Celtic onagers from the ships, and then some from the Oath Sworn, some from the Slinger. So overall, kind of mediocre, but pretty good for a naval assault force. The opponents only were defending with 2 armies, so that kind of is what happened in that engagement. Romans having perhaps the easiest time of it, almost no losses, maximum number of kills. So really fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.